the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about the political turmoil in Bangladesh. There are some important words you have to learn. Let us start the session with the question, what is this editorial about? Or before that, what is enrichment? You are going to improve your comprehension skill, and this editorial is related to polity. It goes with polity. You are going to learn a lot of important words. This is an important editorial from vocabulary point of view. Grammar consolidation, effective English. Today, no mini mocks, no vocab consolidation. Let us start with a question. What is this editorial about? The editorial discusses a challenging situation in Bangladesh during a period of political turmoil and violence. So right now, Bangladesh is experiencing a challenging situation because of there is a political turmoil. Because of political turmoil. Turmoil means a chaotic situation, a disturbing situation. That's an important word. What is the tone? The tone of the editorial is serious and concerned. Serious because it's a political turmoil. It has to be serious. And concerned. Why is it concerned? They're attacking the minorities. Over there, minorities, Hindus come under minorities. They're attacking the people. They're attacking the temples. That way, concerned. Let us go to editorial vocabulary. The very first word, tumultuous. Tumultuous, an important word. What does it mean? Characterized by disorderly commotion or a chaotic situation, turbulent. You can think of words like turbulence, turbulent, chaotic, disturbed, and commotion. All these words mean the same. Characterized by disorderly commotion. Commotion means a lot of people noisy protest. When they do that, we say commotion. Look at the example. The country experienced a tumultuous period during the revolution. Whenever there is a revolution or an upheaval, uprising, obviously, that particular place experiences a tumultuous situation or period. Turbulent, chaotic, stormy, calm, peaceful, orderly. Everything under control. Loot. Whenever there is a public disturbance, people experience looting. That means a crowd or the mob becomes unruly and tries to attack the public places, the shops and all, and they take whatever they can get access to. That is known as a looting. To steal goods typically during a war or a riot. Here, not because of a war, because of a riot. Stolen goods, especially those taken by force. This word can be a verb, can be a noun. Example, the rioters looted shops during the unrest. Means they attacked the shops and they stole whatever they could. Example, synonyms, plunder, pillage, steal. These are important words you have to remember. Steal goes with everyday English. A return, gift, bestow. Bestow is an important word you have to remember. Vandalize. Vandal, a person. The act is called vandalizing. Vandalize means to destroy public property. Part of speech verb. To deliberately destroy or damage property, usually public property. That is known as vandalism. Vandalism is a noun form. The person is called vandal and the act is called vandalize. Look at the example. The group was arrested for vandalizing public monuments. As I said, it usually goes with public monuments. That is important. Some people go attack the public monuments, then we use the word vandalize. Synonyms, deface, damage, desolate. These two are very important words. Desecrate, I'm sorry. And repair, restore, preserve, simple words. Reconciliation, an important word, part of speech noun. What does it mean? The restoration of friendly relations, the process of making consistent or compatible. Actually, it means some people they have a they have an argument or a dispute. After some time, they try to patch up. Then we use the word reconciliation. Look at the example. After years of conflict, the two nations finally achieved reconciliation, means they patched up the differences. Synonyms: resolution, settlement, accord, disagreement, conflict, estrangement. That's an important word. Pragmatic, an important word they have given a few times. Pragmatic means being practical, part of speech adjective, dealing with things sensibly and realistically in a way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. All this is a lengthy explanation. Simply, pragmatic approach means a practical approach, not based on theory, based on a practical outlook. Look at the example. The leader took a pragmatic approach to solving the economic crisis. Means the leader took a practical approach to solve the economic crisis. Synonyms are practical, realistic, sensible. Idealistic, impractical, unrealistic. You can also use the word theoretical, based on theory and not a practical approach. An important word. Technocrat, part of speech noun. We use it for persons. He is a technocrat. What does it mean? An expert in a particular field, especially one who holds a position of power in government or industry, often perceived as focusing on technical issues rather than political considerations. In a way, a person with expert knowledge and holding some power, being in a position, we use the word technocrat. There are two aspects: an expert in a particular field, and also, especially one who holds a position of power in government. Two dimensions: one, expert knowledge in a particular field; the other one, holding a position in government or industry, often perceived as focusing on technical issues rather than political considerations. Example: the new government was largely composed of technocrats rather than career politicians. A new government based on technocrats, not on typical politicians. Expert, specialist, bureaucrat. Politician, amateur, layman. Amateur opposite is a professional. He is a professional photographer. Opposite, he is an amateur photographer. Not a profession, hobby. Hostility. We have got the word hostile many a time. Hostile attitude, hostile behavior, part of speech adjective. Hostility, noun. What does it mean? Enmity, antagonistic. Usually I give those words. Unfriendly or antagonistic behavior. Opposition or resistance to an idea, plan, project, etc. You oppose something, you have enmity towards someone, and you have an antagonistic attitude, then we use the word hostile. Look at the example. There was a clear hostility between the two rival factions. Imagine the two rival factions, between them there's a lot of enmity. Then we say hostility. Synonyms: antagonism, enmity, animosity. All the three words are very important. Friendship, goodwill, harmony. Discrimination, part of speech noun. What does it mean? The unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people, especially on the grounds of race, age, sex, or disability. You show prejudice, you show bias, you treat someone indifferently based on caste, creed, age, sex, religion. Then you have to use the word discrimination. Look at the example. The company was accused of discrimination after it was found to pay female employees less than the male counterparts. Usually it happens at the workplace. Male counterparts means male or men at the same level. Counterpart, they get more compared to female counterparts. So that is in a way discrimination, not treating properly. Synonyms: prejudice, bias, inequality, fairness, equality, impartiality. Simple words. Uprising, upheaval, uprising, revolution, all these in a way, a particular group. What does it mean? An act of resistance or rebellion, a revolt against authority, often involving large groups of people. When groups of people they try to revolt, then we use the word uprising. Part of speech noun. Example: The government was overthrown during a popular uprising. A lot of people must have revolted against the government, then the government gets toppled or loses power. A rebellion, a revolt, insurrection, an important word. Insurrection, you have to remember. Compliance, submission, obedience. Simple words. Now you all know, I'm sure, the word comply, comply with. Vendetta. Usually it goes with the word political vendetta. Vendetta is a noun. What does it mean? A prolonged bitter quarrel with or campaign against someone, often referring to a blood feud in which the family of a murdered person seeks vengeance. This goes with, in the past, it would go with tribal people. Today, if you go to some parts of our country, there you experience this. It is also known as factionism. One particular person gets killed in a particular family, and the members of that family, they try to take revenge. It goes on generations down the line. That is known as vendetta. But generally, we use for that blood feud. And when it comes to the sphere of politics or the realm of politics, we use the word political vendetta. Look at the example. The feud between the two families escalated into a vendetta that lasted for generations. This goes with the tribal thing between the two families, some sort of rivalry. They keep killing. Every generation, one person gets killed. That is known as blood feud. But in politics, one party is in power, and before this party, another party was in power. Imagine. So the party that is in power, incumbent government, tries to take revenge against the other party. That is known as political vendetta. Feud, grudge, revenge, reconciliation, truce, forgiveness. All these words we have got many a time. That's all about the words related to today's editorial. As I said, it is all about the political turmoil in Bangladesh. How does it start? What is the stimulus? A reign of chaos. I haven't brought the today also we have a lot of words, but slowly what happens out of 15 to 20 words, already we have got 5, 6 words so many times. I'm sure you all know those words. No point in bringing again and again. If you take reign, reign means a governance, a rule. During the reign of a particular king, during the reign of a particular queen, during the reign of a particular party, means at the time of those people being in power, a reign of chaos. So here he talks about a chaotic situation, a rule of chaos, a rule of confusion. Chaos is an important word, though we have got many a time. Complete disorder, complete confusion. Then we say a chaotic situation. Exactly, disorder. Upheaval also I have used. On Bangladesh, a most tumultuous phase. Tumultuous, an important word. It means turbulent, disturbed, uh, completely disturbed or chaotic situation, disorderly situation. And we use the word turmoil, turbulent. The word turbulent also goes with flights. While flying, sometimes we experience turbulence. The plane shakes, and those who are in the plane get on board get scared. It's a natural thing. Editorial main idea. What is the main idea of this editorial? UNES should end the violence against minorities in Bangladesh. So it is about the interim government, the Nobel laureate, he has to end the violence in Bangladesh. Should. Already we have got this many a time, the helping verb, it has two functions. What is the first one? It is used to express, to advise or suggest someone. Here it talks about advise or suggest someone. The second dimension of the second function of the helping verb should. It is used to express a possibility, but the chances are less. Here, advise or suggest. UNES should end the violence against minorities. Right now in Bangladesh, I'm sure you all know what is going on. A lot of people are attacking minorities, especially Hindus, and also they're attacking the temples. So it has to be stopped. Yunus has to stop, or he should stop this violence against minorities. That is the main idea. Any editorial like this, you have to guess the broad framework. What exactly happened? What is the reason behind this political turmoil or the tumultuous situation, and who is responsible? And after this tumultuous situation, after the problem, who has come into the limelight, who is a person at the helm right now, and what is his role, what is his responsibility, and during this period, what is going on in Bangladesh, and what is the solution, how to control violence. There's a broad framework. The first appeal to the public from Muhammad Yunus, Nobel laureate and the head of Bangladesh's interim government, after he landed in Dhaka from Paris on Thursday, was to save the country from chaos and violence. A lengthy sentence, but what is the main idea? Who is right now? There is an interim government, means the temporary government in Bangladesh. And who is the head of that? Mohammed Yunus. Who is this person? He is known for microeconomics. He is basically an academician, and he has got the Nobel laureate, Nobel Prize also. He is a Nobel laureate. Right now, he is the head of this interim government. And he came from Paris, and as soon as he landed in Bangladesh, he made an appeal to the public of Bangladesh. What is that appeal? Violence has to be ended immediately. The first appeal. Appeal means it has two different meanings. One meaning appeal means to attract. Appealing dress, appealing style means quite attractive. You get attracted. But appeal also means to urge, to request. The first appeal to the public from Muhammad Yunus, Nobel laureate and the head of Bangladesh's interim government, after he landed in Dhaka from Paris on Thursday. All these are like adding more information, the phrases and clauses, but the main idea, the appeal was something. The appeal was what? The first appeal was to save the country from chaos and violence, means to stop chaos and violence in Bangladesh. The octogenarian, octo means eight. We have octopus, the most intelligent octopus, a marine animal. Octo means eight. Eight arms octopus. The octogenarian, a person who has crossed 80. The octogenarian pioneer. Pioneer means a person who starts something for the first time in any field. The first person to start something. We use the word pioneer. The octogenarian pioneer of microfinance. He is known for his microfinance in the field of economics. He is taking charge of the country at one of its most tumultuous phases. Right now, if you take Bangladesh, it is going through the most disturbing phase. For disturbing phase, we use better words like tumultuous phase or turbulent phase. Or right now, it is going through a political turmoil. So at this juncture, he has taken power. What are his responsibilities? Days after former Prime Minister and Awami League leader Sheikh Hasina resigned and left amid means in the middle of. Amidst, both mean the same. Both mean in the middle of. These sentences provide the background information. Why he has to come, why he has to be at the helm, and before he landing from Paris, who was in power, and why that person had to leave. All this background information. Days after former Prime Minister and Awami League leader Sheikh Hasina resigned and left amid violent mass protests. She had to leave, she had to resign, she had to leave because of the mass protests related to reservations. The nation of 170 million people remains on edge. The nation, Bangladesh, of 170 million people remains on edge. Remain on edge means to be very tensed up. When you are on the edge of something, obviously you can't be normal, you will be tensed up. On the edge, as violence refuses to recede. Why is it on the edge? The violence refuses to recede. Here, generally, the word recede means to go back. We use it with water, waves. If you you go to any beach, you come across high tide, low tide, oceans. And during high tide, the waves come forward. During the low tide, the waves recede, means they go back. Here it talks about violence not receding, not coming down. Law enforcement, why? What is the reason behind? Law enforcement officials are missing. Those are supposed to enforce law. Those officials are missing, then you can't expect nothing but chaotic situation. And the state bureaucracy has become non-functional in the absence of a government. If the government is there, then you can expect the bureaucracy to work. If the government is not there, it is anarchy, and you can't expect the bureaucracy or bureaucrats to work. So these are the reasons behind the political turmoil or the current situation. Based on this situation, some people try to take advantage. So these sentences talk about based on this chaotic situation, what exactly happened. Extremist sections have used the chaos to target Hindus, Ahmadis, a minority sect in Islam, and Awami League functionaries, means those who work for the party. They started attacking, move back, exactly. Deepa, that's right. Here, based on this chaotic situation, some people tried to, extremist groups, sections tried to take advantage and they started attacking Hindus, Ahmadis, and also Awami League functionaries. Functionary means a person who works official for the government or for the party. According to the Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council, the houses and shops of minorities were looted in several districts. Usually, looting goes with house, not with houses, it goes with shops. But surprisingly, here, the word houses also you see. According to a particular source, according to the Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council, the houses, that is really surprising. The houses and shops of minorities were looted. Loot means what? Whenever there is a chaotic situation, the mob, the crowd, they try to attack the shops, they take whatever they can get access to. They can lay their hands on something, they take that. Could be TV, televisions, fans, chairs, whatever. And usually it goes with looting shops. Houses rare. Looted in several districts. Offices of the Awami League were vandalized. Awami League, that is the major political party, and Hasina, the party leader, she had to resign and flee the country. She has fled the country, left the country, and they started attacking the leaders of Awami League and also the offices. Offices of the Awami League were vandalized. Vandalized means what? To damage or deface public property. Usually it goes with monuments. When you visit a historical place, a heritage, there's a monument, you see two things. Some people try to spoil those, that is vandalizing, and some people write something that is known as graffiti. Graffiti means writing some nonsense on the monuments. These two are very common. Vandalized, and dozens of party functionaries and supporters were killed. Oh, killing also. They looted, they vandalized, and they killed functionaries of Awami League party. Not acceptable. Any of these not acceptable. Mr. Yunus, now this person who is the head of at the helm right now, the head of the interim government, Mr. Yunus, who was sworn in on Thursday, condemned the violence and appealed for calm. Condemn means publicly denounce or publicly criticize, say you have someone has done something wrong. Something related to violence, obviously one has to condemn. Sworn in on Thursday, condemned the violence and appealed for calm. As a banker, basically a banker, economist, Mr. Yunus, and Nobel laureate, as a banker begins his role as an administrator, his challenge would be to bring Bangladesh back from the brink and restore the rule of law. Edge, brink, they all mean the same. Right now, Bangladesh is on the edge or on the brink of collapsing. What is his role? What is his responsibility? Bring it back from the brink and make sure the rule of law is restored. By appointing Mr. Yunus, someone who is acceptable to the student protesters and the political opposition, the military and Bangladesh President Mohammad Shahabuddin have shown signs of reconciliation. There are three things over here. One is, what is this? Edge. Okay. The font has become very small. I can't make out. The font size, I mean. Coming to the current scenario, military is there, very strong in Bangladesh. President is there, strong. and the student community, those who are protesting, the third one. And they had to find a person who is acceptable to the military, to the president, and to the protesters, the students. And they found Mr. Yunus. By appointing Mr. Yunus, someone who is acceptable to the student protesters and the political opposition as well, the military and Bangladesh President Mohammad Shahabuddin have shown signs of reconciliation, means some sort of patch up. They agreed. They did not protest. At a time when there is much hostility among political parties, an interim government headed by a technocrat is a pragmatic first step. They have their own problems. What are the problems? Political rivalry. When there is political rivalry, there is a turbulent situation. Finding a solution, a practical solution, that too, is something a good sign. The sentence talks about that. At a time when there is much hostility among political parties, enmity among political parties, that is always there. An interim government headed by a technocrat, one who is an expert in a particular field, at the same time has power, can be an administrator. A technocrat is a pragmatic first step, practical first step. But Mr. Yunus does not have the political machinery to back him up. Back someone up means to support someone. So right now, Mr. Yunus does not have the political backing, political machinery to back him up, and will have to be dependent on, excuse me, will have to be dependent on the mainstream parties or the anti-discrimination student movement. Because he does not have the political machinery, he has to depend on someone. And he has to depend on what or whom? Will have to be dependent on one, the mainstream parties, means the major parties in that country, or the anti means against discrimination student movement, anti-discrimination student movement. He has to depend on. You can think of phrasal verbs like bank on, rely on, depend on, count on. They all mean the same. Belligerent means ready to attack, aggressive. He also faces three critical medium term challenges. Now the editorial talks about the challenges he's going to face, and it says there are three medium term challenges, not long term challenges. What are they? He also faces three critical medium term challenges, important medium term challenges. First, he has to make sure that the military stays in the barracks. Military in Bangladesh, many of these countries, they are not reliable in the sense any moment they may go in for coup. COUP. P is silent. Coup means what? Toppling the government. So he has to make sure the military is in the barracks. In the barracks means they have to do their duty. They should not enter the political scenario. First thing. The military, why is it important? He has to keep the military at arm's distance. Arm's length means safe distance, at arm's length. What is the reason? The history of the military in that particular country, Bangladesh, is not something positive. The editorial provides a background information. The military has an infamous past, means negative, and it took years of mass movement led by Ms. Hasina and Khalida Zia, the BNP leader, to bring the dictatorship to an end in 1990. Till 1990, military had a role and it was controlling. But because of the movement led by Hasina and one more party leader of that particular country, they could bring military rule to an end in 1990. It was like dictatorship. Dictator, a person who rules with an iron hand. You have to also recollect the words like dictator, despot, autocrat. They all mean the same. Mr. Second, what is the second? That is the first one, keeping military at bay. Second one, Mr. Yunus has to build at least temporary peace in Bangladesh's polity. There should be temporary peace immediately. That is also very important. And Wha- more information about that. Ms. Hasina's fall has empowered the Jamaat and the BNP. Jamaat, a majoritarian Islamist group, has had a particularly bloodied past, while the years the BNP was in power were marked by political violence and vendetta. So both the parties, they don't have good reputation, rather bad name. Because of that, he has to bring peace immediately. looking at the background of these parties. Lastly, what is the third one? Mr. Yunus's administration should facilitate free and fair elections at the earliest. How to end this political turmoil or turbulent situation? Within no time, he has to organize free and fair elections at the earliest. Only an elected government with popular legitimacy can steer the country, direct the country out of the troubles it is in today. If the country has to come out of the troubles it is in today, there should be elections and there should be a legitimate government. Only the legitimate government can drive the country out of its present chaotic situation. How does the editorial end? The success of Bangladesh's uprising is dependent on the will and the ability of the country's new rulers to tackle these challenges. The future depends on how well the new rulers can tackle these challenges. It depends on that. Let us go to that's all about the editorial. Important one. You got to read twice, thrice to understand. Comprehension point of view, it is important. Vocab point of view, it is important. Now, based on your comprehension skill, listening skill, try to answer these questions. The first one: what is one of the primary challenges Mohammad Yunus faces as a new head of Bangladesh's interim government, temporary government? One of the primary challenges strengthening Bangladesh's economy? No. Building temporary peace in Bangladesh's polity, expanding Bangladesh's international relations, promoting industrial growth. He has to build a temporary peace immediately. That is a primary concern because right now it is a turbulent state, chaotic situation. Violence is everywhere and innocent people are getting killed. Peace is required. Question number two: what role does the military play in the current situation in Bangladesh according to the editorial? It has to be rather what role military has to play, not does play, has to play. It has taken full control of the government. It is supportive of Muhammad Yunus's leadership. Hold this one. It must be kept in barracks to prevent dictatorship. Hold this one. It is leading the anti-discrimination movement. No. It has to be B or C. But actually, what role does it play in the current situation? It is supportive of Muhammad Yunus's leadership. This is the opinion of the editorial. C is the opinion of the editorial. But here the question: had it been what role the military has to play according to the editorial, then answer is C. But what role does the military play? It's a different question. Answer is B, not C. Question number three. Which groups have been particularly empowered following Sheikh Hasina's resignation? The Awami League and student protesters, the military and police forces, the Jamaat and the BNP. Two have become uh, empowered. And what are those two parties? They had not a good history, bad history. The Jamaat and the BNP. Answer is C. What action did Mr. Yunus take immediately after being sworn in? What did he do, Mr. Yunus, immediately after being sworn in on Thursday? He called for free and fair elections. He condemned violence and appealed for calm. Hold that one. He ordered a military crackdown. He resigned from his position. As soon as he sworn in, he appealed for calm and peace. He condemned the violence on the one hand. On the other hand, he appealed for calm and peace. Any leader has to do that. On the one hand, has to condemn violence. On the other hand, has to appeal for peace and tranquility. Why is the appointment of Mr. Yunus considered a pragmatic step, a practical step? Why is it considered a practical step? He has strong political connections. He is acceptable to student protesters and the political opposition and also the military and also the president. Based on that, hold the second one. He has the backing of Awami League, the Awami League. No, he is a military leader with experience. So, what is the answer? He is acceptable to the student community, the opposition, the president, and the military. Obviously, a practical choice. That's all for today. I could not bring the mock questions, I could not bring the vocab consolidation, and we'll be doing all these from Monday. Have a nice weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday with more questions and mini mocks, vocab consolidation, all these. Thank you very much.